Speaker John Boehner also held his weekly briefing shortly after this one, in which he also addressed Monday's Boston bombings. He also talked to reporters about a report being released this week on the investigation into the attack in Benghazi.
Morning, everyone. It's been a rough week for the country. Our hearts go out to the victims and the people of Boston. Glad the president's up there today, and I add my prayers to his. Here in the nation's capital, envelopes full of ricin were sent to Congress and to the president. All of us who serve and work here in the Capitol, that would include members, staff, reporters. I think a special thanks to the Capitol Police, the Sergeant at Arms Office, and our Chief Administrative Officer. Thanks to the skill and dedication of the men and women who work here and their outstanding teams, the system worked as it was designed to work. And as a result, a potentially deadly substance was detected and thwarted off-site just miles from the congressional office to which that letter was headed. Let me also say thanks to the Secret Service and their efforts to keep the president and all the White House employees safe. It's been a rough week, but we're thankful for the blessings of life and the opportunity to live in a country whose people always look out for each other. But of course, the work of democracy continues. Coming weeks, we'll move bills focused on expanding American energy production and creating more jobs, all part of our all-of-the-above energy strategy. We all know that gas prices remain painfully high for families and small businesses, but it's a lot more than that. It's about revitalizing our manufacturing sector, creating new jobs and growing the economy for American families. Energy is the foundation of our economy. We need to focus on the promise of prosperity, North American energy prosperity, and the abundance that it offers to our country. America's greatness is tied to our freedom to produce and build things. And Republicans have a plan to grow our economy by making America a nation of builders once again. And we want to streamline our government, cut red tape, and unleash the power of North American energy. With these things, we can revitalize American manufacturing and foster long-term economic growth and job creation for our citizens. Lastly, we're determined to get to the truth regarding the terrorist attack on our mission in Benghazi, Libya, in which 3 Americans lost their lives. Last year I directed 5 committees to look at various parts of this investigation. And next week, these committees will provide a comprehensive progress report on the investigation up to now. And this progress report will not represent the conclusion of their investigation, but it'll be the beginning of what I will describe as the next phase. This is a matter of national security and national importance, and our investigation will, in fact, continue. Questions?
Now that the Senate has failed to pass a gun bill, what does the House plan? What do you plan to do on guns or violence in the House?
Well, our committees continue to work at this. We've got Tim Murphy, Congressman from Pennsylvania, who's been looking at the issue of mental health with regard to and violence. The Judiciary Committee continues to look at the practical steps that we can take to better protect the American people. No decision has been made beyond that.
Speaker Boehner, the president and other gun control advocates have warned there'll be a political price to pay with the voters if there's no action in Congress on gun control. Do you have concerns that House Republicans could face trouble at the polls?
Our committees are going to continue to look at the violence in our society and look at these tragedies and determine whether there are common sense steps that we can take to reduce the chances of this.
What is your initial reaction to the Senate immigration bill? And from the leadership's conversations with the members over the last several weeks and months, do you think that a comprehensive immigration bill at all could pass muster with your members?
Well, I want to congratulate the Senate Gang of 8 for coming forward with our bill. I'm sure there's parts of it I would agree with, parts that I would disagree with. But the fact is that they've worked together in a bipartisan fashion to craft this bill. The House Gang of Eight that have been meeting for over 4 years continues to make significant progress. And in addition to that, Chairman Goodlatte is working diligently with his committee on hearings about various parts of this problem. You have to remember, about 3/4 of the members of Congress have never dealt with the issue of immigration. So there's a big learning curve that the members are going to have to go through. That's why our whip, Kevin McCarthy, has been holding sessions attended by members, being briefed by Chairman Goodlatte and Trey Gowdy, the Immigration Subcommittee Chairman, to help familiarize members with the various issues within legal immigration and the problem of illegal immigration. So I'm overall very happy that the process is continuing.
There's been some suggestion that
Do you think that the country, in the wake of the marathon bombings, do you think that the country has in any way become too complacent about national security and these sort of situations happening? And do you think there's anything Congress should or can do to prevent something like this from happening again?
Well, listen, the world's a different place than it was before 9/11. And as we've seen since 9/11, we've had a war in Iraq and a war in Afghanistan. And we've got new types of war making, including terrorist attacks and IEDs, that have changed the face of security. You know, before 9/11, people wouldn't have think that these things could happen in our country. But it's a new era, and all Americans need to be vigilant. And I think these incidents, when they do occur, remind all of us that we've got to be vigilant.
Mr. Speaker, the minority leader was in here earlier this morning urging you to appoint conferees to hammer out a budget. Do you plan on doing that?
I'm missing something on this story. Yes, the House has passed a budget, as we have. As long as I've been Speaker, the Senate finally passed a budget after 4 years. The chairman of the two committees were talking, and as you all know, it's customary that there's no appointment of a formal conference until such time as that there's some basic framework worked out in which they can proceed. And so Paul Ryan, our Budget Committee Chairman, has been meeting with Senator Murray. They've been having conversations. I want to encourage that to occur. But I think you also know that under rules, if you appoint conferees and after 20 legislative days there's no agreement, the minority has the right to offer motions to instruct, which become politically motivated bombs that show up on a House floor. So I just want to be frank with all of you. We're following what I would describe as regular order. These informal conversations are underway, and that's the way it should work.
You said that you want to follow regular order with gun control bills, go through committees. Is there a chance that you go through regular order and you do not have a vote on the House, or can you assure that there will be a vote on the House floor on some kind of gun control measure?
The relevant committees are working on this issue. I'm going to continue to work with them. And when we have a decision to announce, we'll announce it. Thanks, everybody.